Hello and welcome again to the RWBY podcast. I just peeked my audio there. It's been a while. This is actually my first time recording a podcast from my apartment that I, moved into this summer. Because of God, the thing. The look here. This is first. You know the thing. I'm mediocrity four.
I am surprised to be going second. This is like the first time I've ever gone second because unfortunately, High Power is not here due to work scheduling. But
Good.
man, a lot has changed. I finally got the job I was working towards, so that's good stuff. And I
Yay.
became more of a weeb since the last time I've been on the podcast because now I'm not only have I switched from dub to sub, I now actually am a manga superiority person. And I read all of Quince. So
Yay.
Yes.
yeah, Miku best girl, let's go.
Mhm.
I'm dude.
I guess I'm pretty sympathetic towards the whole fucking stuttering deal you did there, seeing as how I've gone through that myself via my second seizure.
Oh,
Uh, but yeah, otherwise, still fucking kicking, and everything's cool for your boy, Zombie Coop.
yay. Well, yeah, I am Robert. I'm here.
We
All
got a
right.
trailer to talk
Yeah.
about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that they released some clips here and there, because of the comic cough that we are all suffering from here in the world on planet Earth, circa 2020. Um, and so they did like an RTX at home, and they released some like out of context clips from Volume 8. Uh, showed off some hover bikes, uh, and some like actually saving pedestrians, which is something they also did in Volume 7 that we liked. But we got a full fledged trailer a couple days ago. So my general thoughts, it's certainly a trailer. It doesn't really show anything we couldn't already assume based on how Volume 7 ended, and that's kind of my big worry about Volume 8 is I feel like I'm seeing a lot of the major things come from a mile away. I think it's going to be very action heavy compared to the last couple volumes,
Yeah.
which could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. We won't know until starting in November when the volume actually starts. But it gave us some interesting action beats and a bit of a goal for Salem and a bit of her dynamic with Cinder. So there is some stuff here that we didn't really know before. But on the whole, I think this is probably better than the Volume 6 trailer. Judging it as a trailer, judging it as an advertisement for a product that is not out yet, I think it's stronger than Volume 6's trailer. It's probably about on par with Volume 7's trailer, and not as good as Volume 5's trailer. Volume 5's trailer was actually pretty kicking.
Volume 5's trailer was so good, we thought that was going to be a good season. It turned out to be the worst one by far. So, yeah. No, if you're not already a cynical RWBY fan, like all of us poor saps are, right? Who I think arguably just keep watching the show just to do this podcast. At least that's for me.
Mm.
It actually, I thought it was good if you're not like already like if you're not a cynical RWBY fan, like it was a good trailer. I thought like it's definitely not a bad trailer. For us that are like follow the show more closely, obviously it's a bit it's again not really anything that we didn't already see from the teaser and stuff like that, right? Honestly, the biggest thing I got from this was what did we see? Cinder is Salem's bitch. We already knew that. She wants to get Oscar. We knew that. She got the relic. We already knew that. Which is fine, like because we're still gonna watch the show anyway. You don't need to entice us existing fans. You need to entice more general audiences, right? So for them, that works, right? So I get that. Honestly, the only thing we really learned from the teaser and the trailer, and again, I'm going to talk about Renor because that's one of the only things I can talk about besides hating Oscar, is two things actually. One, which we could assume, and they actually kind of go together. One, they switched Ren and Nora's points of view from Volume 7 to the trailer. If you don't remember, Nora was getting upset because she was trying to defend the people of Mantle, probably because we're assuming she was from Mantle or something like that, right? She's getting her, like,
she's been the little guy, but
yeah, she's getting her white guilt and she wants to defend the little guy, right? And Ren was like, no, we got to do what Ironwood says and think of the big picture. Now in the trailer, Nora's line is like, she's not going to stop here, referring to Salem. She's going to move on to something else, right? Which is true. And then Ren says, there are people here that need us right now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so you're still having them fight probably, but you've switched their side. So she's like, to me, like, here's the thing. I said at the end of last volume, I think that I am fine if they do a Renora fight, because if they do a Renora fight, that means that they're doing it so they can resolve the fight and then get them together. If they don't do that, they're retarded writers. They're terrible. Okay, like if that's not what they do, it's because they've built up that relationship as too strong to do anything else. So for me, it's a good sign actually if they fight, because it means they'll finally resolve and actually become a goddamn couple legit, right? So I'm fine with that. At least
be consistent about which side they're both coming from.
The problem I have is that it's bad writing, because you can't even remember what position or opinion like your characters have. You can't even remember what your characters think, what position your characters have on an issue. Like, that's bad, just period, right? That's not a Renora thing. That is like, that makes me worried about all the characters, right? That you're gonna switch them and bounce them around on the way they think about things. So that's obviously a worry. And the other thing we learned was, or at least that I got out of the trailer, was that Jean talking about them splitting up based on what Ren and Nora said, right? So that's another thing where I think they're going to create some drama. Spoiler alert, my guess based on this stuff is Ren or Nora is going to get really badly hurt, and that's what's going to like be the impetus for them to fix their fight. That's my bet right now. I've kind of been betting on something like that for years on this show. When I actually tried to almost write a fan fiction, that was my thing that I was going to do. Not that it was a good writing job. It was like 5 or 6 years ago and I sucked at writing. So, but I still think that's what's going to happen. Based on that, someone's going to get really badly hurt. I'm guessing it's going to be at least Ren or Nora and or somebody else as well. And that's going to be some sort of like, that's going to be the drama that's going to be like the side drama on top of the we have to save Oscar thing, which, I wish if this was a better show, I would say, ooh, maybe Oscar's going to die, but this is RWBY, so he's obviously not, which is sad. I would love to be excited and hopeful for that, but I just can't.
I think I don't know. So the thing that's weird to me about because for me, so my predictions for this volume kind of went all the way back to when we got our first the teaser of Yang, Jean, Oscar, and Ren, basically separated from everyone else, getting these new like motorbike things and riding off. And watching that, it had me, and I was kind of right about this, that there was going to be like these groups were going to separate. And so I guess, and from the sounds of things, from what I can tell from what the characters are saying, RWBY's talking is pretty centered right now on warning the rest of the world about what's going on with Salem, which I think that's fine, but at the same time, I feel like RWBY being RWBY, being like particularly after last volume where she made the the big Paragon decision to basically stop Ironwood from sacrificing Mantle basically to Salem and stuff like that, and basically trying to stop Ironwood from essentially trying to force a stalemate. So to go from that Paragon decision of no, we can win, we can save everyone, we can do this, to then go to, okay, we can't win this fight, but we have to warn everyone so we can win the future fight. Like, that's smart. I think people are probably gonna like that, but at the same time, it feels like it doesn't necessarily feel like RWBY, and I feel like it would maybe be a little more I feel like it would be a little more effective to her character arc if she thinks she can beat Salem here, if she thinks we can win this, we can beat her, despite like against Weiss's, or not Weiss's, but against like Yang and Jean's and Ren's advice, basically. And like she fails epically and has to realize, okay, sometimes you have to take a loss to win in the future. Like, I feel like that should be a lesson that she has to learn rather than just she already knows it, I guess. Does that kind of make sense to you guys, or what I'm kind of saying?
Yeah.
Or am I just full of it?
No, I get it. Like, fucking gotta take a loss every once in a while so you can actually learn about how to not take so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
losses.
Yeah. And it
It's
kind
not
of feels like,
exactly anything that's. It's kind of basic shit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's
It's
Well,
kind of a
I
good bet.
think I think this is in line with Ruby's character, and she's someone who's like, I'm gonna save as many people as possible, even if it costs me my life, and like her. So Ironwood at the end of Volume 7 was like, fuck Mantle, we gotta focus on the bigger picture. We gotta, stop Salem. We gotta worry about the entire planet. We gotta, focus on Amity and shit. And Robin was like, fuck the big picture, fuck the world. So long as my little coal miner town is fine, I'm fine. Even if I have to agree with the serial killer in order to make it fine. Um,
Yeah.
and Ruby's like, we could maybe possibly do both if we try. Uh, like she just saw no reason to pull out a mantle. She's just like, we were doing good. We need to stay calm. We need to keep, doing the evacuation. We need to keep doing what we were doing before. Uh, and Ironwood, like once he saw the chess piece, his plans changed. So Ruby was actually very much in line with where Ironwood was at the beginning of that, whole stretch of battles. And Ironwood is the one who like kind of took things too
Fell
far
off the
too far in one direction, and is willing to like actively sacrifice people. Like there's a difference between like cutting your losses and like actively serving up chunks of a city on a silver platter. Now, I think this would hit a lot harder if we knew how many people were left in Mantle, or if we had any kind of like indication on how far the evacuation had been taken.
or if that
But
was in fact what he was doing, because it wasn't exactly like worded that
Yeah,
way.
that's what I was
It
gonna.
wasn't like he wasn't saying, yeah, let's leave these guys as fucking bait. Like he was basically saying, cut your losses. So, like, it's an interpretive thing, but if we go off of like a literal interpretation of exactly at what he said as he said it, then I wouldn't say that he fucking was like, yeah, I want to use these guys as a meat shield.
Yeah. And also, the other thing is like we don't know the context yet. In fairness, like I don't want to judge anything too harshly. The only thing that I'm pretty certain of for context is like the couple of things that I already mentioned, right? Some of the other things, like with what Ruby said, like I can't say for sure it was her being an inconsistent in character because we don't know the full context of everything, right? So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they still understand who Ruby is as a person, because it's a trailer. We've seen the trailers where stuff from the trailer isn't even in the fucking show, right? So
yeah,
we're gonna have to wait and see. So I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt on that one, and the same thing with Ironwood too, right? Like again, we don't know the full context of that whole conversation or what else was going on. You know, like I said, trailers are not even really for the hardcore fans most of the time. They're for to entice general audiences, because for hardcore fans, it's like, okay, trailer, I'm gonna watch the show. Like,
Yeah.
I just saw the trailer for The Expanse season 5 that just came out recently. It's like, did I think the trailer was that amazing? Yeah, I mean, not really, but the show has always been amazing every season, so I don't really care if the trailer looked, good or not, right? I'm excited for the show anyway, right? So
Yeah.
it's okay if stuff is a little bit out of context. I think
Yeah.
I think I agree with Coop. Like, I don't think he's saying it's a meat shield thing. I think he's probably more on the lines along the lines of the cut your losses sort of thing. And there could be
And
even more to that we don't know yet, because
no,
we're not seeing everything.
like I'm not saying like, because I have seen that being like some. Well, actually, I haven't seen anybody saying that. I think most of what I had seen was people was just saying he was wrong for doing it either way, which is the main thing I disagreed with. Like, you know, the the meat shield thing, yes, if that's an unnecessary thing that you can avoid, yeah, I would not get behind that. But it really, really, really did not, because of the way he worded what he was saying, seem like that was the deal. It seemed like it was a retreat type thing. And like, I don't. You
Well,
can
they were
say
still.
you can leave it up to interpretation, but I'm going to say that you probably interpreted it wrong, because that wording was very, very. It did not seem like it was like hard to get.
Yeah.
It did not seem like he left it vague why he was doing this. He it was a cut and run type of thing. I I
Like I
I
said, it was.
I really just can't fucking
Yeah.
get behind any sort of other thing like that.
Well,
I
like I said, it
really
was
don't.
essentially, like I said, it seemed to me that there were two parts to it, which was, we're out of time, we need to leave. Yes, this means that some people will die, and there are people out there that we won't be able to save and stuff like that. And so, there were people still in Mantle that had not been evacuated, and that definitely were going to die if Ironwood's plan had gone into motion, whether he thought of that as a sacrifice or as just cutting their losses, or meat shields, or whatever.
And
That was going to happen. And then
and
also I don't know, in terms of his plan of just, take one or two of the relics up into space where Salem can't get them, assuming that she can't get to them that way, assuming that, you know, that somehow counteracts her immortality, or that, the Grim can't, like, breathe up where they were going, that's still just basically forcing a stalemate with Salem, which uh
it's
which
better than an
would be,
outright loss. But the
I
thing with that
mean,
is
arguably yes, although I don't know. And if they and if the Grim felt like more of a threat, it would probably be a bigger deal. It would probably feel more like he's sacrificing all of Remnant, but also, there's still the relic of destruction out there for Salem to get, and she can do untold damage with that and stuff like that. So whether or not that stalemate it would be a good thing, would be preferable, is
it probably wouldn't have been a
kind
bad
of is
thing.
open for debate. And so,
I
but yeah, so that's kind of
I
that's
would say
what
this.
I'm looking at in terms of Ironwood's decision.
Now, I might be wrong about this, but from what I've gathered from this whole thing, we're running into a different sort of fucking strategic problem on the opposite end, wherein Salem doesn't seem to be pressing her siege advantage. Like, I I don't exactly know how exactly the siege is currently operating, but she has them encircled. She's got a big thingy, and she's basically got every possible thing that she can do to press in. The fact that, like,
That
They
from the trailers, there are no Grimm in the cities or anything.
yeah, and it seems like
there's a few shots like
I'm
there's a one of those dragon grim flying in one of the shots in the trailer. Like when we see
yeah
action beats in the trailer, like we get a look at Vine using his weapon out for once. Uh, I think because it appears that Salem is coming after Oscar because he's the
but
one
that
who
doesn't
knows how to use the relic, but she would also have to come after Penny because Penny's the only one who can open up the vault.
yeah, but the thing
yeah
about that is that uh so like she is basically kind of forced to not in that case unleash everything so that she can make sure that those two things don't die.
right
So in that case, she can't send shit around killing a bunch of people. So in that case, the she she basically is holding the population captive. So in that case, Ironwood
yeah
didn't actually fucking sacrifice anybody, and everybody's still probably pretty much just alive, just in prison.
yeah. And at this point, like we know, well, yeah, and like at this point, Atlas isn't going anywhere, and Neo probably,
Yep.
Neo probably observed like during her escape from Juniper, they're like, oh hey, it looks like the heroes and Atlas are against each other. I can use this, so it looks like they're probably not going anywhere, and also Cinder knows that Penny got away, that Penny escaped, and probably isn't going to be opening the vault anytime soon. So Salem knows at this point that Atlas isn't going anywhere. The relic's not going anywhere. So yeah, she can just hold everyone captive as long as she needs to. But yeah,
Like under that circumstance, I am wondering why, again, for the 50th time in a row, she did not just, seeing as how she can prevent people from getting eaten by monsters, say, hey yo guys, human race, hey, I'm a lady that can prevent you from getting eaten by monsters, and my goal is to be in charge of all of you. Why don't you just put me in charge of all of you, and in exchange I will not let you get eaten by monsters?
Hmm.
I
Diplomacy
mean,
100. Like, what who would refuse
well
that?
that
What kind of dumbass would be like, nah? Like, there
well, I mean
there's
that depends on. I think that depends on what exactly Salem's goal is, which there's still
according
not.
to canonical text, it is literally world domination. And this
Hey,
is
she could
and
also Palpatine their asses, and because remember, they haven't done the thing where they said who she is yet. She could technically Palpatine the universe and just be like, I can save you from these people. She could come in and pull a syndrome and save them from the monsters or
be
something
like,
too to be the ruler.
yeah,
I don't
be
know.
like,
I
yo,
don't think Salem's gonna
I mean,
end up
as
No,
being
far
that
I don't
smart.
think that's what's going to happen. I really doubt that's
well,
what's
no,
going to happen.
it's already gone
I'm
too
just
far. It's
saying.
just also the exact thing that anybody with half a brain cell would actually do in this scenario, had they
but
that sort of leverage to use. Like,
but also in terms of Salem's
It's
goal, like domination was the plan. Yes, when she was with Ozpin or Ozma or whatever his
it's
name
apparently still
was
is.
back then, but well, not necessarily because she's trying to
No, it
gather
is.
all four relics, and when she gets all four relics together, one of two things is going to happen, right? The gods are going to show up, and either everyone's going to be united, and they're going to say, okay, we'll let you all, and they're going to say like, okay, you can like restore them to their former glory or whatever, which will probably result in them getting rid of her, Salem, or they're gonna wipe everyone out and Salem with him. And I'm assuming that Salem's goal is still to die, to for the gods to kill her, or to at the very least take her revenge on the gods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like
no,
that's my assumption since volume
un,
6. But
unfortunately, you are wrong. In the companion book, it is outright stated her goal
oh,
is, and always was, and always shall be, world domination. and that
See, I didn't
also
read the companion book because
because yeah, you're a normal human being. Nobody is faulting you for any of this, okay?
Yeah,
Mind you, I didn't
well,
fucking
that's
read it
dumb.
either.
you
I
just
got
found out from
this.
somebody else, right?
Yes, because I'm not paying money for that shit because I'm
Yeah.
cheap.
But
Yeah,
one of the
I
other
just
issues with that brings up is the problem of
What
her
does she want
being
the relics for?
well, not just what
Uh,
does she want the relics for, but also,
she,
you know,
okay,
they
okay.
give her
This,
this absolute like power, right?
yeah.
And then they also make her be sneaky at the same time. Can you make up your mind? Like, does she need to be sneaky, or can she just like steamroll everybody? Right? Like, which does it need? Why is she ever sneaky when she could just steamroll? This is why I hated that background episode where it turns out she's immortal and we can't do anything about it. It's like, then why does she ever have to be sneaky with all these henchmen?
I mean,
What's
you've
the point
seen
of that?
Darkseid in DC comics too, right? He's the most powerful being in the universe, but he's also one of the sneakiest. Like, I
yeah,
don't know
but
that
he's
it's
also
not that
like
much of a novelty.
Let's be honest, comic book logic isn't like,
Yeah.
you know, a great example to
Okay,
like,
fair.
you know what I
Well,
mean?
actually,
Also,
in
Father
in
from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Well,
He's very
well,
sneaky. He's also
he
extremely
well,
powerful.
no.
he's powerful,
Speaking
but
of
he has
father,
his
like
limits.
Darkseid goes up against a guy by the name of Father himself of the New Gods,
Right.
and there is political tensions between them that he does technically have to abide by due to treaties made between Apocalypse and fuck,
New
I forget what
Genesis,
the other New Gods planet. Yeah,
New
Yeah.
Genesis.
New Genesis. Yeah, they fucking like so Darkseid does actually have certain reasons to go around doing sneaky shit, like better ones, because he's got to abide by treaties and he needs deniable third parties to do stuff for him a lot. Like
Okay.
so,
But in Salem's case, her only obstacle is Ozpin, who we've established is extremely incompetent and can't really do shit against her. So
Yeah, but
I,
Salem
I
is
kind of
also
understand it, but at
incompetent.
the same time, I don't know. I like villains that know when to be powerful and when to be sneaky, but that's me.
yeah, most people do like villains that know what to do when, because that's called being a person with common sense.
Yeah.
Which is in short
Strategy.
supply in RWBY.
Yeah. But so it's but yes, oh it does look but so in terms of what they're dealing with, what the goals appear to be, it looks like the goals are evacuate Mantle while also I'm assuming I don't know. I'm curious like I am kind of wondering what's the plan for, Atlas and all of this. But also the plan is, so evacuate Mantle and also warn the rest of the world, which it feels like those, and Jean says like, why don't we do both? And it looks like, and this is where it seems kind of weird because it feels like these are two things that you can basically, that you don't need to split up for this, that you can do at the same time. You can, warn the rest of the world and like call for aid to help evacuate Mantle because it doesn't look like they can evacuate to Atlas right now. But and then also it seems like Yang's group, which consists of, Ren, who was talking about, helping these people now, and Oscar, and Ozpin last volume said, Oscar asked Ozpin last volume, how do we save Atlas? And I'm assuming they're going to be doing the whole Atlas is not a place, it's a people thing, which is fine. I think that's a good way to, keep Salem feeling powerful and dangerous and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
but
if
it looks like
we're gonna let Marvel get away with that, then we have to let RWBY get away with that too. That line,
yeah,
okay.
and it was good, and it was good, and like I don't know, that was good. That was a interesting twist in Thor Ragnarok, and I think it would work here. But so it looks like Yang's group is heading out to Amity Coliseum. It looks like they're heading out to the side of the Amity Coliseum to get that up and running. So I'm wondering, like, it seems like the plan it seems like that is where you would go to try and get out the signal and the warning to everyone, and then it looks like, or yeah, so it seems like, yeah, you would go like that is like maybe their plan is to try and pile everyone else into, the Coliseum and flood them out. But it also seems like that is what you would do if you wanted to, get the towers working again and warn the rest of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah, I
And
don't.
I'm not sure what Ruby's group is going to be trying to do. Maybe hijack another airship or something, but
Mm.
I don't know. It seems kind of iffy. But it seems like it doesn't seem like they should have to split up for this, which is another reason why I feel like Ruby's group's goal should be to try and like beat Salem, to try and stop her here at Atlas. Like Ruby thinks maybe her Silver Eyes can work or something like that, and then
Mm.
fail epically, basically, while Yang's group are the ones who are all like, no, we need to, we have to cut our losses here. We need to think about the big picture, and we need to, and we need to warn the rest of the world. Like, it feels like that would make more sense with what's going on. But so yeah, it's
Mm.
tricky.
I don't
I don't know.
I don't
Or
think
am I
Amity Coliseum is going to factor into the evacuation just because it's so far away. Like
Yeah.
it's not by Atlas or Mantle. It's out in the tundra in the mine that they had to take an airship to, and they had to like take these bikes to it now.
Yeah. And if they
I think Ruby's gonna. I think Ruby's
moving
going
it
to.
over towards Atlas, Salem's gonna see that coming and attack it.
I think it would be interesting if Ruby is heading up like the evacuation effort and trying to like get Ironwood back on their side because they need to unite. She needs to do that talk no jutsu to him. Get back on the same page where they were. And
We must unite
Yeah.
so
That's the
we
only
can
reasonable thing,
fight.
because they
Turn the
can't
battle around.
they can't call for outside aid.
Someone's gonna know what that's
Yeah.
from.
I don't, but I'm sure someone
That
will.
is from a Harry Potter musical or sequel. I forget which one it's from.
Probably sequel because I think I
Probably
watched.
sequel, I think.
Mm.
So I'm
But,
pretty sure I watched the
I've watched
first
them
one.
so many times they kind of blend together sometimes for me.
Yeah. But so with that question of Ruby trying to get to Ironwood and trying to reunite, why does she need 6 of their 10, main fighters to do that? It seems like
Yeah, no,
Because
she could
Yang's
probably
group has the more dangerous job. And maybe it's just that, everyone's going with what they think is the most important job or something like that, which is, again, seems weird to me because if Ruby's plan was to fight, I could see why, every single member of her group would want to do that. Weiss would be wanting to protect Atlas, even though she was reluctant to go to it. But last volume, she said it was her home, which, yeah, that whole thing was a mess. And then, Blake is, not wanting to run anymore. Penny's the protector of Mantle. Nora is Nora, she wants to protect the little guy. And then it would make sense for Yang, Jean, Ren, and Oscar to all think, well, we need to, cut our losses because Yang learned what happens when you charge into a fight blindly. Ren's rational, also maybe trying to, separate himself from Nora for a little while to try and figure things out, try and, figure things out. Jean's supposed to be smart, supposed to be the strategist, and Ozpin's and Oscar's just doing what Ozpin says because he has no agency and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
So
again,
two
it's
things
just
that
a weird thing. But yeah,
two,
sorry, go ahead.
two things to kind of keep in mind. They never show anything past like episodes 3 or 4 in these trailers. And they have confirmed that this volume is going to take place over the course of 2 in-universe days, I think.
Okay.
It's one
I
or
wasn't
two.
sure if it was going to be.
like,
Yeah, I heard about that. I wasn't sure if it was, or if it like takes place 2 days after, or if it takes place over the course of 2 days. But over the course of 2 days. Got it.
So the first part of that, like, that matters a lot because, we are speculating on what's going to happen in the first couple episodes, not the entire volume, because RWBY is such a clusterfuck sometimes. It's just hard to even imagine what fucking
Sometimes. The
curveballs
fuck you talking about, son? That's all the time. That's every day. That's 24/7. They wake up clusterfuck. They go to sleep clusterfuck.
Right.
But
So yeah,
the
so
latter
you are right
the
that
latter part of that doesn't matter because, like, the last
so the
250
goals could change.
the last two, this same amount of time is the amount of time that the last 250 chapters of Naruto take place over. So
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, the fourth grade Shinobi War was a fucking weekend.
That's hilarious.
Most of it
But yeah,
had
you're
one
right.
most of it in one spot.
So you're right. It's yeah. Goals could change, objectives could change from what the characters have stated, and yeah. But yeah. I guess one thing that I'm actually kind of interested in potentially seeing actually is so they talked about so last volume, you remember that after Ironwood and Watts' fight,
Yeah.
Ironwood leaves Amity Coliseum and stuff like that, and we don't really know what happens to Watts, and I think it was Eddie who said
No,
that um
it's
that or I thought it was Eddie or
he pops up again. In the finale, we see him in like a prison cell, and we see him in this
right.
trailer getting fucking stock slapped or whatever you call it. Like, this Atlas soldier just straight up beats him outside the head with a rifle.
Oh wow, I didn't.
uh, uh,
I
that's
must have missed that from the
that
trailer.
that is called a butt stroke.
Butt stroke.
Ah,
I like that.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Well, I guess
And that's
that
like the official designation of it too. That's like not even a fucking joke.
okay.
Butt
Well, that goes
stroke.
against what I was going to say, which was because Eddie was saying like, oh, only one of them left Amity and stuff like that, and then yeah, like you said, we see Watts at the end, but I thought that maybe like Ironwood locked him up at Amity or something like that, and so Yang's group shows up at Amity, and Watts convinces them to let him out and let them and to let him help them fix it basically or something like that, like tries to trick them or something, and thought that might have been interesting, but okay, it
Oh,
sounds like
oh
no, he's
shit!
just Ironwood.
I'm because I have the trailer pulled up on my phone for reference. It's 21 seconds in. Not only is Watts getting butt stroked, but Jacques is there as well.
Huh.
Jacques is on the other side of this hard light dust so I guess this entire prison, all the walls and stuff are made out of this hard light dust stuff. And Jacques and Watts are neighbors. So that's nice.
That's
Yeah,
interesting. So yeah, okay, so there goes my
Good for
idea,
them.
and apparently I needed to watch the trailer a little closer, but no, that does sound interesting. Odds are Ironwood's probably going to start torturing prisoners to try and get information on Salem's plan or objectives, which could be kind of funny actually if Watts just straight up tells him, I have no idea why that thing ended up on your desk. I have no idea what Cinder or Neo are doing. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure Cinder just made this all up as she went, which is kind of hilarious.
They tell Watts that Cinder showed up, and Watts is just like, God damn it! Now our entire plan is gonna get fucked up.
I mean, like that would.
I think
While
I think that would be funny.
that would basically just be drawing more attention to the fact that he's played the fuck out now, served his
Maybe.
purpose,
Yeah.
and they refused to kill him when they had an opportune time to fucking do so.
Yeah.
Like,
although it could be kind of interesting if he like recognizes that. Could be an interesting thing if he's kind of like, oh shit, Cinder's actually doing pretty good, and this could actually make me, superfluous at this point. I might not be necessary. I got to figure this out, But yeah.
Well, while without Salem, Cinder is useless. Without Cinder, Salem is definitely not useless. This isn't the
Yeah.
Reichelman creed we're working with here. Okay, like she can probably dump the bitch and she'll be fine.
Well, yeah, but he's noticing that, like, oh crap, my whole thing was being the tech genius and being the guy that gets people in and gets, things figured out. And with Cinder back and Cinder, doing so well, I don't know. His position might be in danger. He
It
might
almost
start.
definitely is. He already did his thing. The problem is they didn't kill him off when he had done his thing, like they definitely should have, because it would have been an
I don't know.
excellent payoff, and everybody would have liked it, and everybody would have been like, "Wow, that was an entertaining thing that just happened. I wonder
Yeah.
why the fuck they didn't decide to do it." There
Yeah.
seems to be no fucking reason.
Yeah. I guess we'll
Mhm.
see. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
probably gonna be
where-
dumb. It's probably
they
gonna
go
be
from here.
dumb.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna do something dumb with him.
Yeah, I would
Oh,
very
God,
much bet on that.
maybe.
It's always a
Yeah.
safe bet with RWBY. So other things we
Yeah.
see, I don't give a fuck about the Aesops at this point. They're there,
Yeah, the first time I didn't even notice they were in it. I
Well,
just
they've
don't care
already
about
been.
them.
They're probably going to be tracking Ruby and stuff like that and trying to
I
get
don't think
Penny
that
back
would
or
be.
something.
I think that would be dumb. Maybe like try to get Penny back. Like I could see the
Yeah.
reasoning behind that, but other than that, like they don't got beat. Like they're only like role within the wider plot, other than like maybe trying to collect Penny. But like how the fuck are they gonna do that when Penny is currently chilling with the team that just recently beat the pants off of these guys.
Yeah. I was thinking Winter might take up the role of their leader and stuff like that, although
That'd be neat.
whether or not she would be
No.
able to objectively lead them to, at the very least, get Penny back from her sister after she let them go. That's kind of a that would be a bit of a questionable decision on Ironwood's part, although he could argue that she was injured. And I don't know. I've heard some people talk about, well, that would be a pretty quick recovery after Cinder, beat her ass, but who knows.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
he's got to
I
send
think-
someone.
I
He
think-
needs Penny,
yeah,
so he's got to send someone to get her.
But I think the Aesops are they're just bodies really at this point.
More or
since-
less. And
Same
it
thing,
has
same thing
been-
with like the teachers. By the time of Vol 3,
Yeah.
they're just
and mind
they've
you,
filled
it
their
has
purpose.
been said via outside sources that their entire thing was that they basically had some fucking ROM hacks going on because of their leader, and now
Yeah,
that he's
Clover.
dead, they're worthless, and that was what made them worthless in the first place, which kind of again exacerbates my positioning that okay, so
That feels
these are the
like
best you got. This is really the best of the best there. You couldn't find anybody better than these guys. Like
yeah.
It's amazing
is
how
it.
like
Guys that have to fucking lean on a fucking crutch of a dude to actually accomplish jack shit.
it's amazing how just pitiful the show has made Huntsman ever since Volume 3.
Yeah, that is.
Like
That
volume
is
volume
that's
three,
weak.
volume three
That's
we
a weak
had
explanation.
volume 3 we had our first look at like pro active duty huntsman with Crow and Winter, and it was nice, it was cool. And then every single professional huntsman we've met after that has just been a jobber.
And if it, I don't know, maybe it would be better if, I guess, if Team RWBY and Team Juniper actually felt like huntsmen themselves. If they actually felt like, yeah, this is the ideal of huntsmen, but They don't really, because they're still leaning on Crow. They need to get rid of Crow.
Well, aside from that, they don't even really like it's still not totally clear what it is that the thing in question is. Like, what the fuck even is a huntsman? Can you outright answer that? Because I can't.
Glorified
certainly can't,
mercenaries?
Yeah.
I tried to answer that in my thing, but
Yeah, mercenaries is about the best I can do.
kind of, yeah.
So, I don't have any other thoughts on the trailer except
I
the
do think
bit
it's kind.
the bit with Salem. Like, on one hand, it's kind of weird that she doesn't know how to use the relic, but on the other hand, you know, she maybe never got a hold of this one, and the fact that she
I mean, we
can't
don't know that she ever had access.
the fact that she can't use it is a good excuse for not using it, which saves that final question for a more like dramatic time, whether that's in this volume or a future
Yeah.
volume.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
No, I can't recall exactly where it was that I fucking heard this, but apparently it was also explained that she does not know that how they function, and she also doesn't know the consequences of gathering all four.
I think Ozpin filled her in
No,
on
We
the
know that Oscar
no, no, no,
consequences.
no, no.
that,
He
yeah, they
he
need to
didn't.
unite people and they need to gather their relics. I can kind of believe that, like, he was the only one who knew Jin's name, and that never really came up while he and Salem were together, and then he kept it
Yeah.
close to the chest,
Well,
afterwards.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't until like that lifetime that he knew what the other three relics were and what they did. Like that was one of the questions he asked Jin in that flashback.
The first time he found it. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so it would make sense that he was the only one whoever knew. So yeah, it makes sense that he was the only one who ever knew. So I do like that kind of. I don't know. I appreciate the way that they kind of the separating the lock from the key. Like, you could argue that it's just dragging things out, but if it drags things out into something like, I don't know, if it drags things out into something interesting or something, exciting or something significant to the characters, I'm kind of fine with that. Same with
Oscar rescue arc.
yeah. Same with Penny being, the Winter Maiden, kind of. It's like, yeah, separating the lock from the key, and my prediction is that she's probably gonna get smashed up, and Cinder's probably gonna become the Winter Maiden, and then Penny will come back and stuff like that. Like, I'm assuming that's probably what's gonna happen, but if what happens between now and then is interesting and leads to good character development, then I'm I'm kind of good with it, and it feels like a good enough like in universe reason for that to happen. But yeah.
Yeah.
And I am kind of also interested to see this, or yeah, there's Grim that Salem is apparently like sending after Oscar. Like, I don't know. I'm glad to. I think it's sorry.
I don't like that, and there's a reason for this. Okay, and it's a completely fucking meta one. That really seems to me like they were fucking looking around, because a lot of fucking people have fucking suggested that, and I don't particularly like the idea of them putting anything that anybody else came up with into it. Like, that I don't think they're
Like,
going to
people
pull it
were
off
bringing up
right.
the idea of like Hunter Grimm, or
Yeah, like an intelligent one that can actually think about things and stuff. Like, that's been around for a long time. And
I mean, it's
don't,
reminding me of that like anteater thing that one chick from Avatar: The Last Airbender used, to track Katara.
It was
Yeah,
Jin, and he used the sheer shoe.
yeah, the sheer shoe. It reminds it like that's kind of what I'm visualizing right now, and I don't think we see any like eyes on it or something. So I imagine that
No,
it's
we
probably
only see its jaw.
like gonna
We
turn
only
out to be
yeah.
blind. But like
I
I
don't
don't know.
know about that.
I feel like the Grimm are more interesting when they are more like when they're not just
oh no, it's a cool concept.
yeah.
I don't think it's. I don't like it when they put concepts that other people came up with into
Right.
it because
Yeah.
those usually end up being the worst things that get put into
Yeah.
it.
So
I
so I hope it's an
I just
original
realized.
idea. I hope it's not just which it might not be. But I
have
but at the
seen
same
such
time
a suggestion around a lot. Is the
okay,
thing.
so it
I
probably
just
isn't an
yeah.
original idea, which is a real shame. It doesn't bother me as much, but I don't know. But like, I feel like we need more Grim, like the apathy or like the Seers kind of, where it's like more specialized to certain tasks and stuff like that. I feel like that does a lot more to make the Grim to give the Grim overall personality and make them more than just these lumps of cardboard that you know that Salem just throws at them and they all just get cut to pieces and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that this Grim is going to, even if it is someone else's idea, I hope it is going to be interesting and exciting. And I'm curious if it's going to go after like I don't know, because so it looks like she's basically holding it up to its nose and letting it get Oscar's scent. I wonder if Ruby's scent is still on it. I wonder if it's also
I
gonna
don't know.
be
The Oscar had been
like if it's
keeping it for a
gonna
while.
like be gunning for her or
I doubt
anything
it.
like that. Because
I
I don't
doubt
know.
it since like she's just outright got it like sniffing the thing and being like, yeah, go after the guy I need to know how to use this
Yeah,
thing.
not only that, but
Might
like
also be funny if she
Oscar,
attacks
like
if she attacks Neo or something,
no,
or if it just attacks Neo or
that would be
something.
dumb.
Just really piss
So
off the Neo fans. Like, okay, we don't need you anymore. Now this thing's gonna eat you.
I think that would be like a clever way of dealing with it if they were like, okay, yeah, anybody who's touched this thing, it's got the scent of now. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think
And
that would
like
be
it
dumb.
stays away from. I guess
Dude,
Cinder's also touched, but like Cinder, hovers above it, and then it focuses in on Neo, and then it goes after Oscar or something. That might be, but yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But
dude, you've
because
been
we're not talking
quiet.
about predictions just yet, right?
I
Even though
mean,
I've talked about a few
we're
of mine,
talking about predictions all
eh,
throughout this.
it's inevitable. Like I said,
Yeah,
fucking mash it all together because it
yeah,
basically gets mashed all together anyway. Fuck it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you've been
But
quiet for a while.
but yeah, my
You,
prediction / wish list is that hopefully, Oscar gets captured and also Ruby gets captured because we still need to know, or yeah, first of all, Ruby needs to lose and Ruby needs to, you know, needs to be in the belly of the whale. She needs to spend some time there uh, and so I think it would be interesting if like both of them get captured and Salem basically starts torturing Oscar to tell her how do I use the relic and stuff like that, and like he's not telling her, but then Ruby tells her, her name is Jin, just call her name Jin, and Salem's like, oh, you knew too, good. Well, don't need you anymore. Bitch slaps Oscar's head off.
Dead Oscar would make me so happy.
dude. Since
He's unsavable at this point. I don't understand anybody who thinks he's a. Why does anybody like him? People feel, oh, he's so cute. He sucks. He's such a shitty character, and I feel bad for the voice actor because it's a good voice actor. But
oh yeah, Aaron Dismuke is great.
Character is non-existent.
But dude, because
Ozpin skin. I could maybe instead of calling him Osktard, I could call him Ozskin.
And to be fair, and to be fair, there would be a reason for them to just kill him off and say that Ozpin's not coming back after that, because when Salem found out that, when Hazel said that Ozpin was back, I think it was Tyrion who said, like, or Tyrion or Watts or someone was like, wait, so soon? Implying that like months or even years between reincarnations is unprecedented, doesn't usually happen, that it usually takes more time than that. So they could just say, yeah, he's not coming back, he probably won't be back in time to stop whatever my plan is at this point.
Anyway, so I had one last question before we spend the back half of this podcast on questions that were sent to us, because Dude was kind of silent in a lot of that. Dude, your thoughts on the prospect of a rescuing Oscar arc? Good answer.
No,
Good answer.
Okay, there's a good and bad thing about that, right? The
Yes.
good side of that is that he won't be with them. So we don't have to deal with his shittiness very much, right? That would be fantastic, right? The bad side of it is it would probably make the fans even more sympathetic toward him and that would mean that they would save him, right? Because if they're going to kill him, they're not going to imprison him and have them try to rescue him and then kill him. I don't really see that being the thing. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did that.
I mean, like it would be a severe.
They get there and he's already
downturn
dead, right? But I don't think that's what they would do. So that also would mean that it would give the dumb fans more of a reason. Because I'm sorry, if you like Oscar, you are actually you're not a dumb person overall necessarily. You probably are, but you might not be. But you're definitely a dumb fan, right? If you like Oscar, because he's an objectively bad character. But it would give the dumb fans reason to sympathize with them more and make their voice stronger. And I'm sure it would lead to more Rose Garden bullshit if whichever way they capture him, it would be more Rose Garden-y, so I don't like that. But at least while he's captured, we wouldn't have to deal with him. And I also just wonder, who cares? Why do we need to rescue him? Everything Oscar's done is bullshit, right? He's sucked. Why save Oscar? Who cares? And I'm not even just saying this as a fan. Literally, he was not original part of their team. Why would you risk everything to save him when you should be doing something else instead? Right? I don't care. You know what I mean? So that's the bad part about it. I just hope Salem kills him at some point. I'd love it if they did a rescue thing where they try to rescue him and he's already dead by the time they get there. And then we're supposed to be super, super sad and heartbroken because she killed him, and I'll just be laughing maniacally. It'll be hilarious.
What if they go to rescue him, but they find out that in that time he's been corrupted and he's evil, and they use it as an
Oh God! Please no.
They would never do that.
Could be kind of fun though if they try to capture him and they just use it as a way to highlight everything that's wrong with him. He's all like, "I never wanted any of this."
They wouldn't do it. They're not self-aware enough to do that. They still think he's a good character. That is the ultimate problem with RWBY, is that the show, the writers do not understand the reality of their characters. They think their characters are one thing when in reality they are another. They think that Blake is a troubled but well-meaning, activist, when in reality she's just a selfish, lazy bitch, right? She's not. I wouldn't say lazy. She's selfish and narcissistic and stupid, right? And preachy, exactly. Right, so they're not self-aware. They think Oscar is a good character that we sympathize with, when in reality he's just an Ozpin skin.
Yeah.
Right. So he's empty. He has no character of his own whatsoever.
Yeah. So let's jump into these questions now. We will do that. We'll try to do this every podcast. I will let people on YouTube through the community tab know ahead of time when we're gonna do podcasts, so that you have at least 24 hours to send us questions. So we got quite a few regarding the trailer and regarding Volume 8 predictions and stuff, so we're just going to spend the next however long getting through them. Blade Charge asked us 2 questions. One.
Hi, Blade.
Besides Ironwood and maybe Pietro, who else do you think will die? Aesop's, maybe?
Oh, by the way, real quick thing. We should answer the questions in order of the intro thing, so that way we order the answers. Does that make sense? So we don't talk over each other, which I just did. But media, then high powered if he's here, then me, then Robert, then Coop. Right? Does that make sense?
sounds
And
good.
if you don't really have an answer, you can just say pass or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
So for this
Well, I think Coop
question,
went before me.
yeah.
I
So
can always go after you, man.
now we're arguing about like who goes when, who's on first.
I always thought it was like order of who
Yeah.
joined like the server / podcast, right? That's what I thought the
Yeah.
original order was. So like,
Hey,
Yeah.
media's the host.
hey, you go
That's
ahead.
why.
You
I'll
can go
bring
Yeah.
up
before
the
me.
rear, buddy. No.
So
Leave me behind. You go. You keep going. You don't need me
like
anymore.
We'll always need you, Coop. Anyway.
based. So besides Ironwood and maybe Pietro, who else do you think will die? Aesop's maybe. I don't think Pietro's gonna die. I just don't see a point in killing him. I do, however, see a point in killing Ironwood, and I think he could very well die in this volume. I would not be surprised either way, though.
Yeah, my list actually for this is quite wide ranging. Actually, the way they're setting this up. I mean, they have killed people before, and they killed somebody else last volume. So I could definitely see quite a few. I'm not saying all of these will die, but these are the ones I think. So I don't see a point of killing Pietro either. I could see Watts dying. I could see even Jacques dying. I could see Winter dying. I could definitely see Penny dying. Penny, I actually think will die, probably, like more than likely within the next 2 seasons, depending on how they do the next volume after 8, or how this, you know what I mean? Like it depends on how this volume ends. If it continues the same exact arc, Penny could die in the next volume. Definitely, I could see Ironwood dying. I hope Crow dies, but I actually don't think he's going to.
They've
I think
like skipped out on him
yes, exactly.
so much. Like
They should have killed him last volume. That's when they should have killed him, is in that fight where they killed Clover. They should have killed Crow. And I definitely can see the Aesops dying 100%.
they probably should have.
And
come out, like,
I see Oscar dying in my dreams.
My turn.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this probably isn't gonna happen, but my kind of death wish list is, absolutely Oscar. Ironwood, again, I agree. I can see it going either way. I kind of see Penny dying, then being brought back by Pietro, and then Pietro dying. Like that's kind of what I see happening. Like I said, I think she's probably just a placeholder for Cinder right now. Basically, she's holding on to the Winter Maiden powers for Cinder. I could probably see Watts dying, like maybe making one final bid to try and repair his reputation with Salem failing, and she's just like, nope, don't need you anymore, and he's gone. I'm kind of hoping for a scene where basically the Darth Vader hallway scene from Rogue One with Salem, basically, just to really nail home the fact that she's dangerous, with like the Aesops, maybe the Happy Huntresses, maybe Hill, maybe Winter, definitely Ironwood, and I definitely think they should kill off Crow, even if they don't. But basically, like a bunch of all these named characters who we know are relatively powerful, trying to stop her getting to the relic of creation, and she just plows through all of them like almost effortlessly. Just really let us know how dangerous she is. Maybe include Cinder and like Tyrion and maybe even Hazel in that, just to let us know that they're still dangerous too. But definitely Salem, like just kill off. I think just kill off a bunch of those characters. Maybe not Winter, but and maybe not Hill. Maybe they can. I don't know. Maybe they can salvage Hill, or maybe they'll want to hold on to Hill as like the leader of the. I'm assuming that Atlas is basically just going to become a giant refugee colony after this, and Robin is probably going to be the one leading them and stuff like that. But yeah, so Aesop's, Happy Huntresses, Ironwood, Crow, hopefully Oscar, maybe Winter, maybe Robin Hill. and probably Pietro and probably Pietro. So. Cool.
So like, remind me again because I like literally just fucking for no reason. What was the wording on this? Is this like
Who do you
who I
think's gonna
think
die?
is gonna fucking
Yeah, who do you think?
nobody? I don't think they're gonna kill anybody off.
Yeah.
That is an acceptable answer.
Thank
His second question, uh, do you think Salem might have some sort of counter to Silver Eyes? I don't think she needs a counter. Like
She's
she's
immortal.
obviously
She doesn't need one.
like she obviously has dealt with Silver-Eyed Warriors before. We know that she killed Summer and whatever. But Cinder's getting to a point where Silver Eyes barely work on her. Ruby tried vaporizing her with Silver Eyes and she just like fucked off. And that was just last volume. Like imagine how much more resistance Salem would have against she doesn't need a counter.
Yeah, not necessary.
Yeah, it doesn't need one.
Yeah, it may be. I think I'd still leave that option possibly open because like if there's no reason for her to give a shit about them, then why did she give a shit about them enough to even bother sending anybody out after them to kill them in the first place? Like, so like
They're a nuisance
from
to her army.
That would make sense,
uh,
Coop, except for the fact that the writers forget everything.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, that's a good point.
I would go off of what you're
Maybe that
saying.
has something
Like,
to do with why she's trying to capture Ruby.
yeah,
Maybe that's why
Yeah.
maybe she needs Ruby alive to get some sort of
the milk
insurance
her
against.
for
But
tolerance poison.
I always
So,
assumed that
like,
it was because, Salem uses Grim so much and Grim are weak to that stuff that like she just
They
wants to
were in
take
the-
it. She just wants to take out
You-
like the Silver Eye Warriors because like at this
take
point
out one of
maybe
weapons.
maybe like Ruby Silver Eyes are the only thing that can weaken the giant whale Grim, like stuff like that.
or maybe she wants to use Dread Pirate Robert's technique of developing an immunity to poison by getting small doses
Mhm.
of it over and over exposed to her.
Is that what Trump's doing to COVID right now?
Anyway,
No, I meant that as a joke, but like I think he might actually be doing it. Quiet Message gave us 4 questions. What do you think of the upgrades Jean got teaser? Reminder, because I don't think this was in the trailer. This was in the teaser they released beforehand. He has like these little shield grenade things now. I think they're fine. It makes sense that technology would exist. Bots had the ring that could do the hard light construct thing. Why not a slightly bigger version of that?
sure, why not?
Yeah, it seems good because he needs something ranged. If that's what that is, right? So cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've resolved this volume to not be freaking out
Yeah.
over Jean too much because hopefully, if my expectations are lower, they'll exceed them.
Yeah, don't get your
I'm
hopes
as
up.
fine with it as I am with any level of weapon technology demonstrated.
Yeah. Second question. Think we'll see more upgrades for the rest of the cast? Probably not. They said this in the commentary that like they gave the characters the upgrades they thought that they needed. I really don't see them even thinking about doing that 2 volumes in a row.
Yeah. And I think they were talking about redesigns that they. Sorry, I'm talking out of order.
If they do it, it wouldn't be right now. I think we'd wait at least a couple more volumes if they even do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And I
mean,
think they
like,
talked about, I think they talked about how they made a few redesigns to certain characters, like hairdos and stuff like that. And when people asked why they didn't do that for Jean, they said, we didn't have time. We didn't, have time to do that redesign. So I think it's probably the same thing with like weapons upgrades. They probably didn't have time for much more than Jean's.
Yeah, and Jean's not even an upgrade. He just has a new piece of equipment that is complementary to his weapons and upgrades that he got last volume.
which he may
Uh,
have gotten in last volume.
yeah. Third question. Think aura being used to attack like Ren with the King Taijutsu will ever be used again in that style?
Nah, dog. It ain't
No.
happening. Never going to
There's
fucking occur
just
again.
yeah. There's just because that's like a hand to hand combat thing, and I'm sure that this has popped up in the books a couple times, particularly because Fox is in the books and he's another one that has done that. Uh, it just doesn't really fit anyone's current fighting style right now. Like maybe Harriet will do something like that, or maybe Yang will cause a Grim to explode with her fist. Other than that, like I just don't see how that would pop up.
Also, I don't think they know how to animate it anymore because they never did it outside of the original fucking
True,
software.
true. They haven't done anything like that since switching to Maya.
Yeah, I'm just gonna reiterate say what Coop said.
Uh, and the fourth question, we kind of answered this right away. How's life been treating you guys? We're surviving. You know,
Good.
yeah.
I'm back from
Yeah.
the dead for the second time in a row.
Zombie
I'm actually
coop.
doing. I feel bad having having to say this during a pandemic, but I have lost for about 38 pounds over this week, so I'm
Nice.
That's
in
pretty
better
dope.
shape than I've ever been. I got
Nice.
the job I wanted. I mean, technically, I'm doing better than ever, actually. So, thanks for
Yeah.
asking. I know it's still a pandemic, so I mean that's not fun, but I mean, I'm doing pretty fan fucking tastic.
As someone who had COVID 2 weeks ago, I am happy for you, dude.
Hmm.
And I am
Thanks, Rob.
doing great too. By the way, COVID was pretty much nothing for me. I was fine. I just spent
Yeah.
2 weeks bored out of my gourd,
Yeah. I had a
and
I
I'm
had a
still doing
COVID
pretty good.
scare. I've had a couple COVID scares, the last couple months. But no, it just turns out that seasonal allergies are happening a little earlier or a little later, because back in February, and also, um, the subway in Concordia is really gross. I got food poisoning from them.
Oh,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not
that was
fucking
that was
scared
that
of
was a
it.
couple
I
weeks ago.
delivered vape supplies to the quarantine barracks to keep my men in good morale. So,
Yeah. So
Even then,
let's watch Ask 5 questions, but we kind of already answered some of them. Do you think Ironwood will die by the end of the volume? We already answered that. Do
yes.
you believe that we will finally get some Oscar development with him on his own? He's not on his own. We know he's with Yang and Ren in the trailer that they showed beforehand. Um, so press X to doubt. Judging by the trailer, do you believe we will finally get that Cinder backstory and maybe some Neo backstory as well? No.
No, and I don't care. It's like the same with the Nora backstory. I don't care. I don't want it.
Fingers
well,
crossed on the Cinder backstory. Do not give a shit on the Neo thing. I feel like Cinder's backstory might be good for her. It might be a little too late,
it
but
it
I
is
feel
it
like
is
we need.
definitely too late, but like better late than never. Like it is a necessary thing. Like I don't get what the fuck it is that is her whole deal. Like at all.
Yeah,
Still, it's been
yeah,
8 fucking years of this.
yeah.
Well,
With Neo, it's just you know she had a boss that she liked. He died. She's after the people responsible. But with Cinder,
Yeah.
it's like, why does she want to be powerful? Why does she want to be feared? What? What was? Why does she refuse to starve? What does she mean by that? What was it like when she starved? And what is? Why is Salem? Why does she feel like she needs Salem? When her main goal is power and stuff like that. Like, I feel like a backstory could be very helpful even if it's maybe just something delivered by Salem in a monologue, like this is where you were when I found you, blah 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 type thing. Maybe that would be enough.
When
But
a
and
mute
like you said,
communicates easier than you do, you've fucked up.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, I think a Cinder backstory could be good for her. Like I said, it's probably too late, but it's yeah, better late than never. So I'm
So
hoping for it, but
next question. Hold on, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So next question. You think Blake and Yang will get some consequences for telling Robin about the tower, like from Ruby or
No.
anyone else? I would say no, except that I heard, I think it was either Eddie or Miles say that Ruby will have an antagonistic moment with Yang. So that gives me hope that there might
So
actually
maybe
be some consequences. I can't verify that. It might have been I might have had that like secondhand account. But fingers crossed. I would certainly like to see a little tension between the group here. This is a perfect
Yeah,
time to
that'd
do
be
it.
nice. Yeah,
hoping
Yeah.
for it. Yep, I would like to see
tentative
that.
maybe,
Well, I
hopeful
don't
maybe.
I don't think they can really pull it off at this point because they've already gone through that sort of phase of like they can't pull off the huge separation breakup period like they did anymore. Usually you can only do that like once in a thing, and I think they might have pulled the trigger a little bit too early on that. There's
Well,
there's not a
last
lot
time it
of
was just a physical breakup. This time I think it's going to be just. It's not going to be a breakup, but there's gonna just be some tension, just
well,
to
some
add to the
tension that
drama.
doesn't result in anything is still worthless tension. And so like, oh my god, they're not getting along, but they're still doing literally everything together anyway because they kind of have to.
Well, we
Well,
know that
okay,
Ruby and Yang are going
nothing
to be.
fucking resulted from that.
Well, we know that Ruby and Yang are going to spend some time apart here, at least at this beginning here. So that might be the arc for
Yeah,
I
but
don't
is it
know, a
gonna be?
couple episodes, or for the volume, them kind of trying to resolve that tension, or maybe they have that bit of tension and then they separate, and then
And it's
Yang
gonna.
gets back and Ruby's been captured. She's like, "Oh shit! The last conversation we had with each other, we were pissed." But
Yeah, but that's gonna be like that would be like a microcosmic type level in comparison with the previous time that that happened. And there was some like it wasn't purely a physical thing. There was some emotional shit that went on with them. They didn't do it right later on
yeah,
when it came to fucking Volume 4, but like they fucking there was a mental reason as to why she refused to go along with her sister. Like
and a
so
physical one,
that
she was harmless.
yeah,
But yeah.
so yeah, there were both in that. So no, I think
Yeah.
I
So you think
don't
they'll screw
I
it up
don't
again, or just
well,
won't do it again,
I wouldn't I
or you
they
think they
might
had their chance and
they
they
might they
shouldn't go
might
again?
do it right. I think this would just seem like beating a dead horse and trying to repeat an old fucking thing that does not need to occur
Okay.
again. They already, like I said, they already
Like the
pulled the
cliche,
trigger
the
on it once.
Lancer leaves the group thing that
Yeah.
happens like every other episode of Digimon.
Hey, say what you will about Matt, but he at least had a decent reason for wanting to. Okay, dude had to
I
look out for his little bro.
know. I know. It's just the easy example.
So, last question from Let's Watch. What is your prediction on what question Salem will ask Jen? Uh, where's the beacon
Where's
relic?
the relic
I
of
think
choice?
I think that's the most pertinent to like what her goals are.
Wait, what was your question, Media? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear what your question was.
What question will Salem ask Jen?
No, I heard that. What was your
Sorry,
question? Do you
I
think she's
interrupted.
gonna ask?
Oh, where is the beacon relic? Because that's still
Hmm.
MIA.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be the most obvious one.
I think she's gonna say, "Where's the beef?"
Okay, Reagan.
She asked Jen.
I,
She
I
asked
think
Jen.
it's gonna be.
She asked Jen, "What would you do for a Klondike bar?"
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
You guys don't know the horrors I have seen done for Klondike
Or
bars.
she's gonna get really close. She's gonna get really close to it, and then you're just gonna hear, "Who are you? Who? Tell me, who are you?"
Or
Maybe how
another
can I die?
possibility. Yeah, that was actually going to be another prediction of mine. Uh,
Sorry.
so Sean Rendez asked two questions. Do you think Whitley will be focused on at all this volume, or do you think he'll just have a few cameos? They have indicated they want to do stuff with Whitley, and now is kind of their last chance because Volume 9 is greenlit, and I doubt they're gonna have another volume in Atlas. I think they're gonna want to move on to
Yeah.
Vacuo and start wrapping up this story.
Yeah.
Like,
Might be. Probably. Yeah, we probably have enough supporting characters.
it would likely be a very small thing, and like maybe like fucking I don't know. He helps or hinders them in one small way that offers or removes a tiny obstacle to them one time.
Yeah, I think the train has left the station on that opportunity, so I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe he'll do something pivotal. That would be kind of cool, but we'll see.
And
I don't think it would be cool for him because like he didn't really do that much.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
ever
I
before.
honestly, Robert, it's a little weird to hear you say that because that's shoehorning Whitley into something, which because honestly, at this point, probably would be shoehorn. Would be like adding, coffee into something,
I
right?
don't know.
I don't know.
I've been wanting to see Whitley like play a bigger role and get expanded on as a character for a while now. So
But where are they going to do
I'm
that? The whole
still
way they would do
hoping,
that would be with the business of the Schnee Dust Company, and we're not going to get that. It's obvious we're not getting that, so they've lost their opportunity, I
Yeah.
think, to do anything like that.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
So, second question: do you think Ruby will lose trust towards Yang and Blake this volume for telling Robin about Amity Arena? No. The most she'll do is chew them out a little bit and be like, don't go behind our back again. That'll be the most of it.
Yeah, sadly, they won't actually have real consequences for Blake because she's an allegory for SJWs, and they don't get consequences. So,
Surprised nobody's asked us about Miles's comments on the White Fang and stuff like that, but
I haven't even been knowledgeable about that.
Apparently Miles said or basically, which I disagree with the reasoning behind this, but he basically said that the White Fang plot was too ambitious, and we're not in the position to cover that kind of thing. Which, I mean, it's nice of them to recognize that they're white, but even though Miles is technically half Hispanic, but to realize,
yeah, but he's like Spanish.
To not pretend that they that they can 100% relate to minorities, but at the same time, white people know what racism looks like, so I think the logic is flawed there. But
hey man,
and I think the White Fang arc could have worked. It could have been good. It in less amateur hands.
Like legit, two white boys up from fucking New York made a totally cool racism thingy, and I'll say it before, as I have said it like 50,000 times. All I had to do was just rip off Magneto. That's all we wanted. That's all anybody ever fucking wanted. All they had to do was just rip it off.
Yep.
Yeah. So
sorry, that was a tangent.
hold on. The next question, gotta pull it back up because I was just looking at something else. Ranking the writers. Carrie is certainly better than Miles. We haven't seen enough from Eddie or Kiersey, and there is looking at the credits for Volume 7's episodes, there is no trend or pattern to follow on like who wrote the better episodes, because Miles, who we all know is worse than Carrie, he's the one who wrote the best episode in Volume 7. So fuck. And Kiersey and Eddie wrote the worst episodes, the dinner party. So just shooting the shit, I would say I would actually say Carrie, Eddie, Kiersey, Miles. Eddie just has the least amount of bad stuff under his.
That shop is like such a fucking chaotic whirlwind. Trying to predict anything that comes out of it is like trying to fucking predict the fucking future, like in general. Like it's just this crazy mist of like, what are they gonna do? I have no fucking idea until they do it. Like, literally, there's. I guess if I want to put a positive spin on that, at least I'm always surprised.
I'm actually gonna have to disagree with media. I think Carrie can be just as bad as Miles, because I honestly don't see the evidence for Carrie being better than Miles, because when Carrie, I don't know. I think Miles has written some good characters in the past, whether you like RWB's, the Chorus trilogy or not. The Mercs were good characters. Felix and Locust were good characters. The Merc trilogy in RVB season 14 was the best part of season 14. And Carrie, Monty and Carrie have both said that they were the ones responsible for writing most of Jean's stuff. So Carrie is responsible for the shitstorm that is Jean. So I blame that. I blame that on him. So I'm gonna say that all four are equal.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was y'all telling me that at one point, and I was like, and ever since then I've been like, okay, yeah, the thing that's been floating around that a lot of people say about how it was fucking Miles's fault for that. I no, like it was if they say like unless I get like contradictory information from somebody, I'm gonna take their word for it, even though I don't consider them trustworthy because I have no other source saying something different.
Yeah.
But,
a couple of I think Miles has said that a couple of his lines during the Jaundice arc were he helped provide a couple of the lines there because they were basing Jean on Miles in certain ways, but it was still primarily Carrie and Monty, and so they are the ones who came up with that bullshit plot. The bullshit Jean falling asleep in class thing. They were the ones who came up with all of that bullshit. Miles just helped them write a line. So, from what I understand, so yeah, I say equal, and I think we skipped Dude.
That's because I don't care. They're all responsible for the bullshit, so I don't care about even bothering to try to rank.
Equal.
I mean, like he could have always, no, in a certain way, yeah, Miles could have always been like refused to be written in, and I think they probably would have respected him on that and been like, yeah, you know what, if you don't want to be like this guy, then we can try and fucking change him up to be like a different type of dude for you.
So
if you don't want that attention, but like he assented to it, like he gave him the go ahead, so it is partially his responsibility in that sense.
So, next question comes from Edward Kelly, and it's basically cringiest fan theory. Rose Garden becoming canon.
Same. Rose Garden becoming canon is definitely the cringiest thing possible in RWBY.
Well, I mean,
I want to come up.
There's a difference between being cringy and stupid. Like Edward Kelly, he offers the theory of like Summer still being alive or like a grim corrupted. That's
Yeah,
not
they could
cringy.
juice.
That's just dumb.
Yeah, as much as I hate Oscar, there are things they could write that are dumber than Rose Garden. Unfortunately, there actually are. You could come up with something stupider, but in terms of like cringy things that are like actually, unfortunately possible, that's definitely number one.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I can't really think of any. The entire idea of like the whole "this might happen" thing. It's not a super cool scene. There's not a lot of people out there doing that sort of thing no more. These this is like back in the day stuff that you're trying to dig up. Like the everybody nowadays is just all about like getting pissed off at each other over stupid bullshit.
Yeah. I'll just throw this on the table to make the Rose Garden thing even cringier. Ozpin being Ruby's grandfather.
Ooh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it
Or
it
being
worked.
related to Ruby. Although that one might actually be true, but it would make Rose Garden cringier.
I don't I don't know because he never said jack shit about like anything that will
I mean, I think they
do
I mean
with
they implied that like Silver Eyes come from people that he's infested and stuff like that, like in volume 6 and stuff like that. They showed one of the families that he was inserted into that they had Silver Eyes, and they like confirmed that yes, those people had Silver Eyes because of him or something like that. So like they've implied that it comes from him, so that's
yeah.
actually very much a
By
possibility.
the skin tone and stuff, that looked more like it would be Maria's family than
Maybe.
Ruby's. Um. So Rick Sarts asked, "How do you think Summer died? Basically, how much of a fight did she put up? I think Summer was a very strong huntsman, but we know the track record with huntsmen in the series, so eh.
She was number one, and Mr. Krabs will dig up that hat from her grave. I I assure you of that.
She tried to pick a fight with Salem, tried to nuke her, didn't work. Salem killed her. Possibly trying to like spare Ruby from the fate of, having to fight Salem herself. And it failed epically.
I want to again just go with who cares, but I
Yeah.
would theorize it's actually probably something even more minor than that. And I think there's a good chance that Salem didn't even bother killing her herself. She had like a henchman killer.
Yeah, I can
That
see that.
Hazel or
There really
Tyrion
isn't
do it.
just there
So
just ain't much to it. Like
so yeah. Last 5 questions come from Connor Hines. Uh, Cinder or Neo, who wears the strap on? Asking the real important questions here. I think
Cinder.
Cinder. I think Cinder. I think she just has a much more domineering personality, and I think Neo is a switch.
Yeah, I'd say Cinder as well.
There's no way Cinder would let anyone dominate her.
I think
Damn.
she no, that's
Except
just
for
a fucking
Salem.
Except
that's
for Salem.
that's clearly just a fucking social facade, okay? Once you get once you get the lights off, all rules are off too. Okay? And there ain't no laws when you have a claw either, as well as drinking them.
Okay. Second question: do you think Jean not having a big moment crying over Pyrrha in Volume 6 is a sign he overcame his loss? Um, I mean, he had that kind of moment of clarity or whatever the fuck was going on in Volume 6. Uh, they're just he hasn't been confronted with that fact since then. Like, we won't have an answer to this question until Neo or Emerald pull out like the fucking Pyrrha illusion, and we see how he reacts to that. Like that'll be the final like word on that.
The writers
But no,
are having a harder time getting over Pyrrha than John is.
Like
Yep.
at this point, like I'm not saying that they would do that, but it would basically amount to, yo, someone saying to him, "Hey, I remember that your girlfriend died. Are you still sad about your girlfriend being dead?" And him just being like, "No." And that will be his amazing fucking story of growing in strength, that he finally got over a dead GF. That
So
Not even a
And it
G.
wasn't even his
dead sort of-
girlfriend. That's the thing. That's the thing. She wasn't even his girlfriend.
Nah,
Uh,
but she almost was that one
Yeah,
time.
but she wasn't even
Remember?
his girlfriend. That's the thing. That's why I don't get it.
Nah, like
I mean,
they pinky swore under the fucking bridge that one time. You didn't see it. That was in a different.
Okay, wait a
theater.
minute. Wait a minute, Coop. This isn't an actual anime. There was no bridge. Okay, this isn't Golden Time here. Okay. Remember, I have powered up my weebness since we last spoke. Okay.
and here I was about to make
Bridges are actually anime shit. Okay, this is not a real anime. It was like outside the main like food hall. Or
Nah,
something,
they
right?
actually knew each other when they was kids and just forgot about it and didn't realize it was them.
Okay, now
like,
you're bringing up Nisekoi. Now
That's
you're bringing up
Nisekoi
what I'm
shit,
watching
dog.
right now. I was about to bring up Obito. Like we're just lucky that Jean didn't put on a mask and kill his former master and unleash
Wait,
the Nine
by
Tails
the way,
on the
real
Village.
quick. Oh my God, we're getting a second season of Dragon Maid. Fuck yes.
Yeah,
Second season of
yeah.
Dragon Maid. Halle fucking Luya. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Dragon
Yep.
Maid for life.
I'm glad that they got that production back started after just the horrendous tragedy that
Oh,
befell
yeah.
that studio. Was it last year or was it 2 years already?
I think it's 2 years now.
Yeah, it might have
Yeah.
been 2 years by now.
It's at least over a year, I know that.
Yeah.
I think Jean should be over Pyrrha, but I'm pretty sure someone somewhere said that, like one of the writers somewhere said that she isn't because the Arcos fandom has them by the balls.
Yeah. So third question. I just find this one amusing. What are the chances Robin Hill's husband is going to be revealed and he is a former council member who wrote every woman around him except his wife, and the reason he got into politics is to spite him? Or in other words, what if there's a bill to Robin's Hillary?
Probably very likely.
I'm gonna say
And the writers
no
won't
because
even notice the irony of, won't
Yeah.
even realize the irony of it, just like they don't realize the irony of the fact that Robin Hill is actually a perfect example of Democratic candidates, is actually a perfect representation of what the Democratic Party is like, in the same way that The Birth of a Nation is a perfect
oh no,
representation of the Ku Klux Klan.
oh no. I thought you were
Yeah,
gonna say the Birth of a Nation is what the Democrats were like.
You guys just didn't
Oh, that's
fucking
false.
I mean,
Yeah,
you said it, not
media,
me.
that's a false comparison, though. Okay, the Democrats are not the Democratic Party that they used to
Yeah.
be. The Republicans are not the Republican Party they used to be.
Oh,
The-
I know.
It's
We
everything
know.
swapped
We
around.
know.
I know. I was
Yeah.
just saying, like,
guys
don't let
played-
people think that, though. I have an actual friend. Like, here's the thing. I know most of us are relatively conservative on this, or some of us very conservative on this podcast. I'm probably the most liberal out of everybody here right now, and I'm still not a registered Democrat. But I did have a friend who's a Republican say something like, the Democrats were the ones that wanted slavery. It's like, dude, you're so fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
I
that is not
actually-
the same people.
I made a Twitter thread about this a year or two ago, but so I won't bog down this podcast. But basically, the Democrat Party and the Republican Party both share a founding member with President number 8, Martin Van Buren. He was a founding member of both parties, and that's why they are actually so like similar at their core about when it comes to just extending voting rights. Like that was the main platform of the Democrats back in Andrew Jackson. They just wanted to extend voting rights to the poor, people who didn't own property, and the Republicans when they started, they wanted to extend voting rights to minorities that hadn't had rights before. But anyway, It's very, very interesting stuff. Martin Van Buren, not a very consequential president, but a very, very consequential political figure in American history. Um,
Yeah, no, like,
So,
and by the way, like, they're not the only ones who have had shifts in their political
yeah.
alignment.
Oh, of
Okay,
course, yeah.
I
yeah.
have officially decided to side with Bob Chipman. I think we should pull off a
Um,
Holodomor on rural Americans and create giant megacities a la Judge Dredd so that we can all just live in completely urban sprawl forever. I believe that is actually the correct course of
oh
action we should
God.
all be taking.
Yeah.
Okay, and I will
uh,
support his candidacy for presidency once he lifts and gets those gains, because otherwise he's a fat ass.
uh, by the way, for those of you
Yeah.
for those of you who aren't aware, earlier today, Bob Chipman got fired from the Escapist for the second time, over just his bullshit. Anyway, so fourth question from
But no, yeah,
fourth question from Connor Hines. Do you think that after this volume is done and maybe Atlas isn't a wreck, that the entire cast except Team Ruby and Oscar will stay behind to fix it if the plot goes to whatever the last kingdom is again? I could see that maybe
probably
happening.
not.
I
I
could
think.
see that happening, but they didn't leave Juniper behind to fix Mistral, so I don't know why they would leave Juniper behind to fix Atlas.
Yeah.
I really think the
Replace
story.
Oscar with Jean, and I would be all for that, except for probably not staying in Atlas, but just scattering to different
Yeah.
kingdoms, basically,
Like
and trying to work with the refugees.
really
Yeah,
think
if they
with
resolve the Renora shit and they
Yeah.
get married and have their kid and all that stuff or whatever, then yes, protect them at all costs and get them out of the show at this point.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my hope. Like, resolve the Renora stuff. They're a couple now. Go have the kid. Get out of here. Just peace out. All
Yeah.
right. And yeah, Oscar go with them. I don't care. Like, just because he's a
So
nice
Jean,
kid. He's a nice kid. I don't mind him hanging out with like Renora or something like that, as long as he's not bothering the plot or in the actual story anymore.
yeah.
But I
Yeah,
could
that's
see it
fair.
possibly happening. But I do agree. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened already, unless they plan on making like 12 or 13 volumes of RWBY. If they plan on making quite a few more, then I would actually say it more likely that yes, if they resolved the stuff between Ren and Nora, because I do think they're doing that anyway, then I think they could leave at least those two behind. Yes, I think
I
that's
imagine
possible.
they're probably going to make at least 10. I doubt they're going to make more than 12.
If they make 12 even, I could see it happening, because it's only volume 8.
Yeah.
It'd have
But
4 more
Jean's,
volumes.
but Jean's not going anywhere unless they kill him off, at which point they've just replaced him with Oscar officially. Or, well, yeah, like, unless they kill him off, Jean's not going anywhere because he's still got, I don't know. He's still got the goal of being a huntsman, and he's still, got to avenge his partner, and like I don't know. At this point, he's in too deep and stuff like that, and like the only reason Ren and Nora would have to leave is if they decide to settle down, basically.
Well, I think Ren and Nora make the most sense to stop because their goals are the ones that would least likely intertwine with the story. Because here's the thing, so like, obviously all of Team RWBY has like goals that or are just they're going to be part of the story no matter what. They're Team RWBY. It's the name of the show. You're not getting rid of any of those 4 anytime soon. Yeah. With Ren and Nora, Ren's goal to be a huntsman was probably born out of his family getting killed by the Grimm, right? And he's still kind of bent on that, and then trying to say. And then Nora probably because she just went with Ren, right? Yeah. So basically, once Ren gets his head out of his fucking ass and realizes that his family is Nora, and they get together, then he has no reason to fight anymore. Right. And then because Ren has no reason to fight anymore, Nora has no reason to fight anymore either. So they both can stop. Right.
Yeah.
I think that'd actually be a really nice thing to see. And then actually, I'm pretty sure what I said just made a lot of fucking sense. Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
And
Maria might stick around just as their pilot and occasional spouter of wisdom. I would be okay with that.
As long as she doesn't come up with actual plans, because they gotta stop listening to the fucking adults. For God Even
Yeah.
though Ironwood's kind of right about some things, but otherwise, like the kids should be leading everything. Like I've been saying for how many years now. Um,
Yeah. Which he let them
I'm
do in
fine with
Volume 6. So
I'm fine with Maria being like the silly like Jeeves kind of like pilot, driving Miss Daisy kind of thing, right? I'm
yeah.
fine with that.
Maybe occasionally dropping some cryptic
Yeah.
hints that they're kind of like, that kind of steers them in the right direction or something. But yeah. Otherwise, definitely Team RWBY should be, and RWBY particularly should be the decision makers. Anyway.
Yeah. So last question is said this is more for the next traveling volume, but what if Salem sent out Grim agents a la JoJo Part 3? I think that would be kind of dumb. Like, just I don't know why Grim agents are like that. I mean, this is basically what this is basically what Tyrion and Hazel are for. Like, if they can't get the job done, like,
When I
I
hear
don't know.
JoJo Part 3, I mean, you've talked about in the past that you wish they would do the whole, freak of the week thing. So, like a
Freak of the week
weekly
thing.
grin that they have to fight or something like
Yeah,
that.
I
But
could
It's
see
too late for
that, but
that.
like,
That
yeah,
was like a
yeah,
that's
structural
what I think when I
14-year-old.
hear JoJo Part 3. But
yeah. The time to
That
do
is
that,
basically what
the
it
time to
was.
do that would have been Volume 4 or Volume 6,
yeah,
not literally like the last volume you have on the slate.
fair enough. Yeah. And
So
I imagine this volume is probably going to end with them
yeah,
in Vacuo or on like right along their way to Vacuo.
yeah. I think this volume will end with Atlas in a mess, and Volume 9 will
Yeah.
start with them leaving. A la Volume 6. Um, So that's really all my thoughts on the trailer, and that's all the questions we have. Any other final thoughts before we wrap this up?
I like
Were
tuna
we gonna do predictions?
sandwiches.
I'm glad,
I'm
Coop.
good. I think I said everything that I have to say right now. I don't even. Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited to watch. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
We'll see if it is. We'll either have fun shitting on it or have fun actually
Yeah.
getting good RWBY. Either way, I'll have fun.
Yeah. I am a little concerned because, like I said, I feel like RWBY should be making more mistakes, and I feel like they're, kind of in that mode of we can't let our heroes, our chosen ones, make mistakes and do bad things. But I am curious to see how this volume progresses, and as long as it ends with RWBY captured, a bunch of people dead, preferably Oscar dead, and Atlas falling out of the sky and flattening Mantle, and even RWBY needs to lose this volume, and I think it would be really great if Salem basically is all like, if the volume ends with Salem basically saying to RWBY like, "Oh, congratulations, you evacuated all of
Mm-hmm.
these people, but now I have 2 relics, 2 maidens. The most powerful military force in the world has been utterly destroyed. A bunch of people are now, all those people you saved are now refugees. I have you. I just killed your friend. I killed all of these other people. So, and you stopped Ironwood from forcing a stalemate on me. Was it worth it?" And then leaving that question, unanswered. Obviously, the question is going to end up being yes, it was, but or I'll make it worth it. But leave that question unanswered until the end of Volume 9, basically, or whenever they rescue RWBY, maybe halfway through Volume 9. As long that ending would be perfect. It would be excellent, and that is what I am hoping for.
All right. Well, I think we're done. If you like this podcast and you want to see more, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification because YouTube notifications are bullshit. Share this video around. It's always much appreciated. Donate to my Streamlabs if you are not feeling a monthly subscription to my Patreon, which you could also join. Join us on Discord, link in the description below. And if you donate to my Patreon, you will get access to what I have actually just renamed because of Coop, the Media Secret Squirrel server.
I did not advise this renaming, okay? He did it of his own volition.
I did it, but you
I never
inspired me
specifically
to.
said
I just like it because I've been reading the Witcher
Yes.
books recently.
And so, and this will get you like more frequent updates on what I'm doing and progress I'm making on videos and writing and anything else I'm working on. So yeah, like that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and any other plugins from you fine fellas here?
Check out RWBY 2020. Check out Remnant. I'm kind of doing 2 rewrites at the same time because I'm crazy, but as long as I'm having fun, right? Also check out, or I guess be on the lookout for an original work that I am currently doing. Yeah, hopefully it's probably gonna be at least or a while off, probably like 2021 to the most, if I
Same.
am very, very lucky and very, very good at this, and if I can figure out how to be less concise in my writing. But yeah, I'm working on that if anyone cares. But anyway, yeah,
I have one very important thing to say. As good as the anime is, the Kaguya-sama Love is War manga is better than the anime. Fight me. Also, you get actual development if you go all the way to the manga.
Also, the election is in like 2-3 weeks or whatever. Vote if you are so inclined, and if you aren't inclined to vote, don't let people guilt trip you. That's your choice to make. So that's all I have to say. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Did Coop have anything to plug?
Oh,
Oh.
yeah. I have no fucking idea what the fuck's going on half the time, so just do whatever the fuck y'all want.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. Bye.
Late.